Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Plus, we'll find out come budget season, stuff's gotta be moved anyway.
You realize how much we take on faith?
Good evening. This evening, we're starting our meeting a little early because we have a non-public session for reviews with some employees at 6 o'clock. So we have a few things to do first. First of all, upcoming events. The Autumn Fest is on October 5th from 11 to 4 at Memorial Park. The next Farmers Market is September 21st from 9 to 12 at the town office. At our meeting last week, we had State Rep Tim Merlino in, who had said that cordwood cannot be moved in or out of New Ipswich because of quarantine, an emerald ash borer. There was a follow-up to that, and that is no longer true. The quarantine has been lifted. They do recommend cordwood is not transported in or out of the state. And one other announcement is there is a weather test balloon that was supposed to have been done last Saturday regarding the cell tower that the planning board is listening to a hearing on, and that has been postponed to September 14th from 8 to 10 a.m. And that's been posted on the website and the town Facebook page. First thing we have on the agenda this evening is the South Cemetery update. Actually, prior to getting to that, one other announcement is that the board had made an offer to Scott Butcher for the town administrator's position. We've met with him last week, and he is scheduled to start on September 23rd. Okay. I think everybody's seen the email from council regarding the meeting with the state. First of all, I thought it was something that the board and the cemetery trustees should be in attendance at. If you agree, then I'd like to urge them to come here.
Would we be doing it closed session or open?
No, open.
Open session?
Yep, open.
Would we be doing it during a regular selectmen's meeting or some other time?
I think getting them down here is one thing, getting them down here at night would be a whole other thing. I'm thinking if we could make it like an end of day type thing with them, I'd like to pursue that, if that's...
Yeah, a week's notice if we can get it.
Now, I want to go through this on some detail. This is the plat of the cemetery with the layout of the plots. Based on the email that Bob had forwarded, which was from the State Attorney General's office, I believe. There are plots on here that they're indicating that they would need to be moved. Okay. That's what those red dots represent. This line represents their property.
Yep.
Okay?
Down this way.
Well, this is the road, this is Benny Hill Road.
So they, from that
From this line
down.
Down,
Okay.
yeah. And from this way.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, they've identified 6, maybe 7 that would be on their property, which I think we would need to deal with. But based on our last meeting we had with them, they had indicated that if the ones that were along the edge were moved, that would give them room to come out. The other 14, 15 are on our property. Now, they refer to the remains within the state's easements. Again, my understanding of reading the deed, it says that they can go in and do maintenance. Not that we have any setbacks, there's no dimensions, whatever. So I think these are off the table, is how I'm seeing it.
Well, we looked in everything we could find no easement that said, that we couldn't use it.
Correct, and in matter of fact, just to the contrary, it says that we're granting them the easement, and we as the grantors still have the beneficial use or whatever of the property.
We got mineral
So?
rights.
It's,
Yeah, they can pass and repass, but they can't.
it does say that, grant them that they can go in there and maintain the dam. Well, great, if this doesn't work for you with your size equipment, then find another way of doing it. And there is plenty of room there now. I don't know why they're hung up on the dimensions, because I think there's plenty of room here. But what had me more concerned in reading this, there's 2 things. One, she references a plot 08.
That's
Yep. And it goes up to,
5. 2, 3, 4 is a big plot,
Yep.
and then 5.
so I don't know where 8 is. That was one of my questions. What she didn't reference was, when I look at this plot, anything with that little rectangle,
Mm-hmm.
I presumed were plots with remains.
Yes.
Well, there's CC3, CC2B,
And 2.
CC2A, BB7, BB2, AA2, AA11, and Z2A, which appear to have graves, but they haven't mentioned anything about that. And then my last comment here, she references HH7.
Yeah, this only goes.
It only goes
A,
up
B, C,
to
D,
E, and then she references an FF, so I'm presuming she's here.
And she probably just went FF and then GH. Like if this would be G, then this would be H.
H, maybe that's what she
Yeah.
could be referring to. The other one that had me concerned though here, we will also need the access easement the town gave to Morrill Trust over state land relocated. Any other unoccupied spots within the easement or on state land would need to remain untouched. Well, I thought the easement that the town gave Morrill was from back there,
Mm-hmm.
but was it along this road?
Well, that would
And
seem.
B, is that road something that we don't have an easement for.
But we could give Moral Trust access to here,
Mm-hmm.
so that's not an issue.
Well, that's what they're saying, that would have to be changed, because they're saying that the easement was on state land. Would we have records of that? Or would we have to go to the deed? Not now, but
Oh, we should have it here.
in the file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we can check that.
What they have for starting points out there, controls.
Those were my thoughts. I don't know if you guys have.
Where does their property here end? I mean, does it come?
Stone wall.
I think it's that.
Is it the stone wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where it comes down.
Yep, so
But I'm
that's
not
Yeah. I mean,
100% sure of that.
I mean, you have the dam over here, you have the toe of the dam right there.
Yep. And that drain that they keep referring to is at that toe of
As
the
at the
dam.
toe.
Yeah.
If this road is clear of any grave sites, wouldn't that give them access to the backside of the dam? This,
Would what not give them access? What
Would-
they're concerned is that they could come in, they want to be able to drive without backing out.
right,
So they're saying, well, we can come in, we could come around, and at the time they were talking about I don't know if it was here or here, but they were saying, if you move the grave here, then we could come down and come out.
Yeah, it was this access road here.
Was it that one?
Yeah, because there's no one buried there,
Okay.
so they could come here and out.
But they said they needed
Right.
this one, this one,
yeah, I mean,
this one. It was one of these. Maybe it was here. Yeah.
but
this
I
one.
mean, what sort
Could
of
it have been?
There's
heavy
two- there's both of
equipment
them.
or
I mean,
even
that's Timmy,
trailer
and this is
can't you back up if you provide some sort of a, I mean, we've worked in tough construction
Right,
sites
what they're-
before.
what it is. The whole issue is they want to be able to put a backhoe or a shovel and a truck next to each other instead of behind each other.
You
Okay.
load them.
Right,
Over
but
the
that
side or over the back.
Yeah, I mean, we've all worked in tough construction sites where you had no maneuvering room. This is not an impossible situation.
it isn't, but you're dealing with the state.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And this is the biggest issue, and I keep trying to explain this every time it comes up. We had a agreement, a lease agreement, whatever it was, and it was extremely specific on what this piece of property could be used for. And they broke the rule.
Who's they?
Yeah, what
Our
was the given you
cemetery?
referring to?
The one that said that this could be used for recreation, it could be
That's
used.
not this one. That's not this one. That one there is for this one.
No, but I think this one also said the same thing. We were never supposed to bury anybody in this state
So you're
property.
saying we broke the rule?
Yes, we
did.
broke the rule.
We don't even own this property. They
Right.
bought that property from
Yeah,
whomever.
but they gave us, they said there were certain things we could do in
Not
this
on
one
that.
as well.
No, that I don't agree with. The one that said that the recreation and whatnot is for
Right, the one at the ball field.
the one
over
at the
there.
ball field.
But I thought this one had something very specific as well, that we could do stuff, it just couldn't be anything permanent as
Maybe
well.
we should try and dig that one out, because
Yeah.
that I don't recall seeing.
Yeah, the other
I
question.
think it was in that
Yeah,
whole
do
packet
we
of
have
stuff.
Yeah.
an extremely exact location of where each and every one of these plots is? I mean, there's obviously a grid here, but do we have survey controls out there that we could find each and every one of those graves if we had to dig them up?
Well,
There's corner markers up
Corner
there.
markers,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fine. Because, I mean, I've seen sites put in helter-skelter, you know, in the winter, they just dig where the ground's soft and figure on going back and they never do. All right, okay, so there are corner markers out there. Should,
Yeah, I believe they're probably at the rows. I don't know whether they're at each one of the
yeah,
lots. I'm not sure.
probably not,
Yeah.
but, you know, even if they're every couple hundred feet, that's
yeah,
fine.
but like I said, you're only talking in this whole area, there's only a few, and the headstones are there, so,
Yeah, at least you have a feel for it.
right, you got a pretty good idea of where you're going.
Yeah.
And like I said, this one, that one's Timmy. I can't remember who that one is.
Yeah, what's the oldest site out there? Do you know how well, you know, how far back do his
Don't
burials go? I mean, are we talking, you know, they're in concrete vaults, or are they just, you know, simple
Wooden boxes?
wooden boxes that have decayed over time?
Probably. Well, actually,
This one's 2000s, right here.
was this the one that Bruce Apple bought for somebody? Or was
No.
it this one?
I think it's this one. This one's Timmy Corthell.
This one was
Yeah, that's the
recent.
gentleman. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This one's maybe 5 years ago. This
Mhm.
one's within the past 20 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And is it one of these?
There's one of
is
them is Mrs.
George. George's son?
I think one is Jordan. I think the other one, I think somewhere in here is Mr. is it- he was on the trustees.
Ober?
No,
No.
that's over right here. No, he was on the cemetery trustees. I'm blanking. I want to say
Okay.
Akala, Sepala, one of them.
Okay.
It's his mom or something is right here.
All right. One other question: would it behoove us to talk to some of these relatives, living relatives, in advance?
We have, if you, I shouldn't say we have. Prior to me even coming on the board, letters were sent to everybody,
Okay. So,
and we have them in that folder,
so they're aware.
which it was to say, would you be okay with it? A lot of them came back with no. So,
Well, if they say no, you may not move my relative.
They really don't have a choice.
Yeah, but I believe.
we don't either.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I
I
mean.
believe that you may want to ask Bart if that requires a court order to exhume and move a body.
Sure it's gonna require something other than,
I mean, the state does not
Yeah.
have the authority to tell anybody to move a body. That has to be judicial.
I would guess that, but I don't know what this whole process involves around. That's why my goal is to make it so that we're not moving anybody. I don't understand why they couldn't just come out here. You know, if we have to open up the wall or whatever, or change grades, things are doable.
Put on a
why I
concrete
think
wall
it's-
next to the dam. I mean, it'd be cheaper than moving bodies.
What's the concrete wall doing?
Just move that toe of the dam back a little bit, so give them a little more working room if they need it.
Like you say, I think they've got plenty of room there to work.
Well, yeah, but
Anyhow,
Like I said, it was the discussions that were going on the day that we walked were very varied. We seemed to have a couple people that were wanting to work with us and seeing the feasibility of everything, and then there were a couple others that were
okay.
we had already stepped on their toe and they were angry about it.
All right. So, let me see. they laid out. It's not stamped or anything. All right.
Well, they also have it on it here, I think they did was just the overlay on,
Yeah,
uh,
just a blow up.
on Google Earth.
That's it, Bill's.
Oh,
That one's got P. Yeah, that's that one.
that's
And then,
Josh,
this one.
no.
This one. This one's empty. This one. That one's empty. It's the next one up.
Okay,
Because
then we
it's
got
Bill.
there 3 12s in a row. Well, the
Yeah.
whole thing is 12s,
Right.
okay.
So you got, you got this one that's empty. Then there's Bill Sepula. Then that one's empty, and then you
Right
got
there.
George's
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then that's William Over. That's the one that Bruce Aho bought for Mr. Over, and then Timmy's in that one. That one's
That's why I'm
currently
thinking,
in.
why can't they just access straight out?
Mm-hmm.
They need to make the loop. It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and I figured, and I think we talked about worst cases if we had to move the stones. If they were worried about the stones, we could do the stones and then metal the steel plates if they were worried about driving over a weak spot. That was one of the things we had discussed was, okay, if we had to take the stone and move it so that it didn't get hit by a truck or something, and then if they're worried about a weak spot, we could put down the metal plates until then. Because that was one of the things they came up with. What if a guy turns and we end up with a wheel down in there?
And that's what I thought they meant was when he turns to come down the access
Mhm.
road.
Hmm.
Well, if we make it so that you don't go down the access road, you just come straight out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my opinion, I'd probably even say, well, if you want, we'll put a stone wall right along there.
Yep. Okay. Last question, what authority do we have? I know this is
None.
under under the cemetery commission, but do we have any authority as selectmen to have this laid out on the ground? You know, to find out where the corners truly are? Because this is Google Earth, I mean, that's an overlay. It's
Yeah.
not super exact.
Like I said, when you walk out there, like I said, you've got the stone.
You can see them,
You
yeah.
can see everything.
Hmm.
And everything else is measured out. If you look on the plot or in the deed, it tells you X number of feet from
All right.
the spot. They all starts up here. I think there's a marker.
There's a
And
monument
everything's
there.
measured
Okay.
off of that.
Mhm.
I mean, I just can't understand is with the amount of room they have here.
Right. I don't understand why these way over here have to be moved. That's just,
Yeah, what did I write there? These Q, oh, those were other numbers that aren't on here, and I didn't know if this,
yeah. 'Cause
oh, I got rows Q and R, but I didn't come up with the 7. So I didn't know if that's what those plots are.
Yeah.
No number.
Mhm.
I just am thinking that we've had a meeting with them before. If we're gonna meet with them again, I want to be assured that in my mind, we're prepared to know what we can offer and what we
Yeah.
shouldn't offer. And I don't think we should, and I don't know what your opinions are, but we should avoid at all costs moving any graves.
And I'm fine, and I guess my whole thing is we should avoid moving any graves, but I think we should also understand that if this is their property, we never want to have to continue to do this, we can't bury anybody more in that spot.
And that's,
So, I mean, here's the issue we have, is you have some people that have bought adjoining plots.
right, and any,
And one's there and one is not there. Somebody there, his wife or his widow is still alive.
And do we have the wherewithal to make substitutions?
Well, we do. I mean, that's it. There's plots out there, and there's plots in other areas. we have no other option, because there's a whole other section that we stopped bearing anybody in as well, because we were offering them that area as a work zone. So we have spots available in another area. But like I said, if we're never gonna bury somebody in 12, then they may very want to move 13. Just making sure they understand, like, you're not gonna, we can't give you that spot. So, and that's the thing, same thing with George. You know, he's got the 3 spots there, 12, 12, 12. Only one of them is being used.
And that would be a 2, 4, 6, right? Aren't those 2 plots?
I think you can put 2 there.
Yeah, like here.
Yeah, you could split it, yeah.
I can't believe George was not
Except
aware of
for
this
that.
in advance, I mean,
He did.
when he purchased it.
They all did. It was, but, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that somewhere along the line in the 90s, some group of selectmen signed off on selling those plots in that area we weren't supposed to.
I can't speak for
No,
them,
I can't
but
speak for it, because we can't find the record of who voted to start selling
Yeah,
those plots.
and if you didn't have this, and you'd walk out there, you'd say, yeah, let's start now filling in this area. Not realize, well, that's not
It
our
looks
land.
fine.
Right.
Yeah, I say the sexton at the time should have been able to say, well, that's not our land, you know?
Well, obviously, somebody laid the thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they had gone up to Z, and even if you look at Z, Z is not completely ours.
Yeah.
Z cuts right through a plot.
Yeah, so,
And the lettering is what really throws me off, because I was having a hard time finding something. And if you look here, how did it go? G
Yep. Through up that way.
to V,
But
then
then-
it goes Y, Z, X, Y, Z,
This way.
and then double A, B.
Yeah.
Was,
kind of willy-nilly. Normally, they're numbered 1, 1 through 1,000, section A.
and that's why I'm wondering if the sexton at the time didn't lay this out, saying, oh, yeah, we ended here. And your point could be, well, taking this, he may have thought, well, yeah, we're on our property, this is state property, and then somebody said, well, let's lay them out, and okay, we ended with Z, because that was supposed to be the last one.
And somebody saw a layout and said, hey,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to respond about it, you want me
it
to?
seems horribly silly that the state would even care.
Oh,
Make such a
okay,
big
good,
fuss about it.
good.
I thought I sent you his response, but maybe.
This
Okay, you
just
did the
seems
first one, and
politics.
then he responded with this one.
I had an email come
That
through today
said,
that
I
it
doubt
looked like
that
it
is
was a
possible.
response, but then there was nothing there. Yeah, I don't know, it's,
Oh, so this is what I.
This is
sent
not
you.
logical.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was
But
gonna
like I
respond
said,
to him
so
like,
the
well,
day that
we
you
are
were
gonna
out there,
make
there
it
was
work because,
a lawyer,
I
and
didn't
then 2
respond
gentlemen
to
from the
this.
state.
and that's what I was saying, do you
Oh,
want
okay.
me to
One gentleman
respond
from
to
the
him?
state
If you
was
want
walking
to.
to go,
I
he goes,
just
I think we
figured
can
he
do,
was
make this
trying
work,
to
and we can
arrange
do
it.
this and this and this.
So,
Yeah, and I
And
think
the
he was
other
trying to
guy
arrange
was-
it like around his schedule, like,
Like
oh, I
I
don't
said,
want to drive
yeah.
down
We
there.
had somebody already stepped on his toes,
So,
Just having a bad day.
and he was not gonna budge.
why don't you do it, and then if he,
just tell him that,
Okay.
the board,
tell him again.
yes, tell him the board will sit down in New Ipswich, later in the day. Somewhere in the folder here,
No.
we have, to give guidance to the department heads. I would recommend that we use the, rates put out by the US Energy for projecting the fuel costs for vehicle fuels for the 2020 budgets.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm thinking we already have our fuel locked in until spring.
Has Mark hasn't gotten us the propane rate, so yeah.
Right, I
Okay.
haven't seen those, but we'll have to do a projection for next fall, winter through December.
Mhm.
Should we use the same rate that they're projecting here, 307?
Yeah, I'd be fine.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Okay,
I mean, we have no better data.
yeah, and I think this is the most reliable we're gonna get. Field,
What did we want
do this one in non-public.
to? Okay. Motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Section 2A, dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee.
Second?
All in